Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. I'm Anisa Futri and my partner Diani Fitranda. We are from group 4 and in this time we will presenting about teaching reading. So there are presentations topic. There are many topics for this time. There are definitions of reading, kinds of reading, micro and macro skill in reading, strategies and techniques in teaching skill, differences in teaching for different level of students, teach reading using today's curriculum, and the last learning media that can be used in teaching reading. So, the topics I will presenting is there are 4 topics: definitions, kinds of reading, micro and macro skill, and strategies and technique. Until the last is learning media that can be used in teaching reading. It will be presented by my partner Diani Fitranda in the next video. So for the first is definitions of reading. So reading is an activity to see the written text and the process of understanding the contents of the text out loud or silently. Reading is one of type of language ability taught receptive writing, because by reading a person will gain information, knowledge, and new experience that have never been known before. So that's our definitions of reading. Next is kinds of reading. There are 4 kinds of reading. For the first, extensive readings, intensive reading, skimming, and the last is skinning. So for the first, it's extensive reading. Extensive reading involves learners reading text for enjoyment and to develop general reading skills. It can be compared with intensive reading, which means reading in detail with specific learning aims and tasks. For example, a teacher reads a short story with learners but does not set them any task except to read and listen. And in the classroom, extensive reading is often overlooked, especially as a classroom activity. Teachers often feel it is not an effective use of class time, or are just uncomfortable with the extended silence. Learners can be encouraged to read extensively by setting up a class library, encouraging review writing, and incorporating reading of books into the syllabus, and dedicating some class time to quiet reading. That's for extensive reading. And the next, intensive reading. So intensive reading involves learner reading in detail with specific learner aims and tasks. It can be compared with extensive reading, which involves learner reading text for enjoyment and to develop general reading skill. For example, the learners read a short text and put events from it into chronological order. And in the classroom, intensive reading activities include skimming a text for specific information, to answer true or false statement, or filling gaps in a summary, scanning a text to match heading to paragraphs, and scanning jumbled paragraphs and then reading them carefully to put them into the correct order. So that's all for intensive reading. Text to scanning. Scanning is reading a text quickly in order to find specific informations. For example, figures or names. And the example, a learner taking a reading test needs to scan a text on population rates quickly to find out if a series of statements about the population's figures are true or false. And in the classroom, As the above example shows, scanning is a specific reading skill which is often used in combinations with others such as skimming and intensive reading. Learners need to learn different ways and understand that choosing how to read is an important step in building reading skills. That's for scanning. And next, skimming. Skimming is reading a text quickly to get a general idea of meaning. It can be contrast with scanning, which is reading in order to find specific informations. For example, figures or names. An example, a learner taking a reading exam decides to approach text by looking at the title, introductions, and any diagrams and subheadings. Then skim reading to get a clear general idea of what the text is about. And in the classroom, skimming is a specific reading skill which is common reading newspaper, message and emails. It is important that learners understand that there is no need to read every word when skimming. So often teachers set this at times task to encourage speed. So there's four kinds of reading. And next is micro and macro skill in reading. There are so many skill micro and macro in reading. So for the first, micro skills in reading. So identify the writing system used. Next, now vocabulary. Define keywords, determine the meanings of words, get to know the grammatical class of words, nouns, adjectives, and so on, and determine the constituents in a sentence, such as a subject, predicate, object, and prepositions. And now the basic forms of syntax. Reconstruct and summarize the situations, objectives, and participant. And using lexical and grammatical cohesive device to attack attentions, and use lexical and grammatical cohesive knowledge and tools to understand the main topic or main informations, and distinguish the main idea from the details present. And the last, using different reading strategies for different purposes. So there are micro skills in reading. Next, macro skills in reading. There are three macro skills in reading. There are understand various texts, read novels and stories in English, and analyze and understand a reading. So there are macro skills in reading. So next is strategies and techniques in teaching reading skill. For the strategies in teaching a reading skill. Wow. So research has gone even further to define the control readers execute to their ability to understand a text. This control block 1992 has referred to as metacognitions. Metacognitions involves thinking about what one is doing while reading. Klein et al. 1991. Stat that strategies readers attempt the following while reading. For the first, identify the purpose of the reading before reading. And next, we want to identify the form or type of the text before reading, and thinking about the general characters and feature of the form or type of the text. And next, projecting the author's purpose for writing the text while reading it, and choosing scanning or reading in detail. And the last, making continuous predictions. So that's all from me. Thank you for your attentions. I hope you understand, and next material and next topic will be presented by my partner Diani Fitranda. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.